Hey beauties. Hi everybody. It's Erin Scott here. Monday morning, the 31st of May already. We're here at the end of May. And even though Mercury went retrograde a couple of days ago, this was in the evening time, Eastern time on the 29th, um, I wanted to do a video on the signatures because the signatures are potent and they are connected to the eclipse that we just had last week, and really all of the astrological processes that are naturally unfolding for the last couple of years, for the next several years. This is just the way it is. There's high significance, very high. And a lot of you have been having dreams, having experiences in your waking life. You've been changing. There's a lot of huge, rapid, in some cases, changes happening. And man, this Mercury retrograde process is delicious. And of course, this is happening for the next few weeks. So let me pull up my highlighter here. Okay. And you can see the dates here. So May 29th, 2021 to June 22nd. Now, this is the second Mercury retrograde process we have had this year. If I'm correct, if I've let me just pull my ephemeris. All of the Mercury retrogrades are happening in air signs. The first two of this year definitely did. Let me just take a quick peek. Yeah, Mercury retrograde will be happening in Libra starting at the end of September, right? So we had Aquarius, Gemini, and we will have Libra as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. We're going to look at a couple of the symbols, which you can see listed, but let's hold off on that for a moment because I just want to focus on a couple of the very, very clear, potent, activated signatures that we have for this 3-week process, okay? Firstly, Mercury is conjunct Venus. Secondly, the moon is precisely conjunct Pluto for the signature for this next 3-week archetypal growth process. This is huge. That's massive. And you can see that it's in the archetypal 8th house. So let's talk about that first, and then we're going to talk about all these other signatures as well. The other thing that we have, by the way, is that the moon, exactly conjunct Pluto, is opposing Mars. So there's a lot of motivation and drive, emotionally driven. There's a lot of natural desire in the foundations of individuals and in the collective to create change, death, destruction, transformation, creating the destruction of what needs to be destructed in order to rebuild anew. So what does that have to do with? Well, we're going to look at that. Let's start here first. Okay, so when we're looking at any Mercury retrograde process or any planetary retrograde process, we're looking at a time of natural interior reflection, um, a deeper dive within to review what has occurred in regards to a particular function. When we're talking about a Mercury retrograde function, we're talking about communications that have occurred, we're talking about thoughts that you have held, or research strategies, ways of communicating, language that you've been using, all of these kinds of things having to do with the mind, your thought, your thinking, how you're identifying things, how you're communicating, how you're networking. All of these kind of functions of Mercury, when it's retrograde, it simply means that the natural process is to go within and reflect and review. Is your thinking correct on any given number of topics or themes or ways of operating? Is it correct? Are there things you have to actually reflect upon yourself? Meaning, This is looking within. Naturally, a retrograded planet is going more inside. So, you as the native, you as the individual, are needing to reflect on something. So, what is it that you're needing to reflect on? Is it the way your mind is operating? Is it the way it tends to get distracted? Oh, look, it's a shiny object over here. No, it's over here. No, it's over here. And that constant pattern, potentially, of distraction can keep you out of yourself. It can keep you out of your alignment. It can keep you out of your power because you're constantly out there. The mind is constantly out there. It's constantly projecting out there, whatever it might be. It's going to be different for all of you, but humans tend to do that. So the thing is, that is a collective general process that we must become awake and aware to. This particular Mercury retrograde is asking us to become awake and aware to all kinds of things: our thoughts, our ways of thinking, our ways of communicating, perhaps the tone of our voice or the ways by which we are communicating. Are we more of an oral communicator or more of a written communicator, for example? All of these things are being reflected upon naturally during this time frame. So let that occur. And it might be that with your re-understanding, your reminding of things that are projects that you've been working on, or yeah, they can be with work, they can be with your entrepreneurial business, they can be with your network of people. These are cohorts that you connect with regards to reading groups or the PTA group, or whatever it might be. But there's all this kind of rethinking, getting deeply reflective. This is the call, but it's happening with Venus. So, this is going to talk about several different things. It's certainly going to be talking about um, women, the feminine, love. It's also going to be talking about money, finances, and abundance. So, in other words, there's something quite active during this 3-week process that has to do with the abundance mindset. Most people have a mindset of lack, and it stems from a deeper belief in lack. So, this particular retrograde process is about thinking that through. Everyone, what I can tell you, because my background is really natural systems, it's the mind, it's the psychology of the mind, but it's also natural systems, see. And so the thing to understand about the mind is that you're in right alignment when you're thinking like nature, okay? Nature operates with an ever flow of abundant energy. It's always giving, it's always growing. There's no ceasing of the growth. There is chaos in nature, there is destruction in nature, but it serves the greater arc of evolution. Period, full stop, never any different. So everything that happens in your life is correct for your life process, is correct for your growth. And the reason why this is so predominantly potent for this particular cycle is the symbol. The symbol for this particular Mercury point at which it went retrograde is a gardener trimming palm trees, mastering nature's power of expansion. This is about the honing of the mind. The human intellect is like a tropical plant in that it tends to expand wildly in many directions as it seeks direct contact with the sun's rays. There is a need for repeated pruning. This is about pruning the mind. This is about honing the function of the mind. I don't think I can articulate clearly enough or potently enough, nor is it my job to do it. But this time that we're walking right now is tremendously potent. There is the potentiality existent in our current evolutionary process as human beings is uh, huge. I mean, we're talking about a complete alteration in the function of the mind. Now, would I say this in past years about a Mercury retrograde process? No. I mean, this is always a Mercury retrograde process whenever it occurs, 3 times a year, usually. When it occurs, this is about the rethinking of how you think, how you identify, how you speak, how you communicate, how you network, and who your networks are. But it's this function of mind, communication, networking, movement. How is it that you are taking action on things? What are you thinking that creates the impetus for the voice, for the comment, for the writing, for the article, for the blog, for the whatever? So this symbol for this particular Mercury process is about honing. It's about pruning. It's about cutting away what is minutia. It's about cutting away what are energy leaks. Yes? Now, the fact that Mercury is conjunct Venus is potent. It's very powerful because this inherently is bringing up a lot of thoughts around, as I said, women and the feminine, and your feminine quality sets, issues of gentleness and warmth, care and compassion, beauty. There's a rethinking of beauty. There's a rethinking of harmony and balance. There's a rethinking of nature, natural abundance. There's a rethinking of money. For a lot of you, there's going to be kind of a foundational focus on money. Rethinking what you have valued in the past. The other thing with Mercury Venus is your value systems. Your ethos is being rethought. What you thought you valued is changing. What you thought you valued with regards to love. What you thought you valued about yourself as a person who is a lovable individual. You might have believed that you're not lovable. Lots of people believe that. So, how you believe yourself to be a valued human being, it's being rethought. You're contemplating things. You're diving deeper into the psyche to get to the root, to get to the cause, to get to the past. The past is being transformed here. But the quincunx, there's a quincunx between. There's a difficult blind spot happening between the need to think about yourself, about your self-worth, about the fact that you matter, about the fact that you're inherently lovable, about the fact that you deserve wealth and abundance and money and to have your needs met. This isn't about grotesque wealth necessarily at all. This is about having the abundant life that delights you. And for a lot of people, especially as we move forward, ever more simplicity is really the delight. Getting back down to nature is really the delight. It's not about the um, opulence, okay? Because there's something that the opulence tends to cover. That extreme imbalance is covering something. It's overcompensating for something, right? So the thing here is that there's a blind spot. There's a need to rethink your self-worth, what you value, and money. What are you spending money on? There's a need to rethink all these things. But there's a bit of a blind spot about what is just happening for you also simultaneously. So for you to connect the dots is going to serve you here. That moon with Pluto in this archetypal 8th house in Capricorn is the death, potentially, for those of you that are awake and willing and clear and putting your time, energy, and effort into thinking about the depths of who you are and what your patterns are. There is potentially a death here of aspects of the past that live inside your psyche and create your patterning. This is significant. Now, this is also representative of, potentially, a death of a woman. Potentially, for some of you, there might be a death of a mother. This is not going to be the case for everybody, of course, but this is significant. There can be somebody who has helped create the structure of our lives, a woman in our life that might transition during this time frame. It's a possibility. And it might be that when that occurs, there might be a lot of thoughts and thinking about how you loved and valued that person. For example, that's one scenario of multiple. But when we're talking about the moon with Pluto, especially in Capricorn, what we see kind of foundationally here is a transformation of your desires, the transformation of your desire for your life path, the transformation of your desire for your career. What we are going to be seeing with more and more people, because it's already been happening since 2020, it's been happening. Now it's exponential. And I think over the next 3 weeks, this particular transformation of the desire for career, the transformation of the desire for the structure of your life is correlated with a rethinking of your value system and rethinking money. Can I live on less? Or how can I live more cleverly, more smartly, more intelligently with money? But what you need to be aware of is that there can be a bit of a disconnect between the inherent foundational transformations occurring for you inside your emotional body and inside your psychic body or your psyche, and the thoughts that are activated for you. So, carefulness, I would say, would need to be noted with regards to thoughts that can leak with regards to old love affairs. For some of you, there's going to be a lot of thoughts and thinking about old loves, old relationships, and there's a need to kill off the past. There's a pattern of the past that needs to die away because it's no longer active or appropriate for a lot of you. Now, each of you are living very distinct blueprints. Your evolutionary process is correlated with this particular activation that's happening on the collective level. So, honor your own awareness and honor your own process of decision making as you navigate the evolution called with regards to how your mind is focusing its attention. The need to collapse away and let die into compost the past will interrupt possibly rethinking about old relationships. So let the death occur. There's a need to mature your psyche. It's activated naturally now. Okay. So for a lot of you, now I'm going to direct this portion right here to women, younger women. I would say mostly younger women, although this can be women of any age. But what I would say for women out there is that this particular process that's happening is giving you, it's offering a natural opportunity to really honor yourself, love yourself, value your worth in a new way, in a way that might have been a bit forgotten, a bit detached, a bit disconnected over the years, over the last, whatever, 20, 30 years. This is about rethinking your inherent worth. Ultimately, it's about a transformation of feminine power as well. Do you understand? Eighth house, Pluto, Moon. This is about the feminine stepping up into her inherent power and owning it. But do you see the disconnect here? This can be too much thinking about what? Beauty, Thinking about what? Money? Are there fears coming up about money that are not warranted? What are the fears? Do you believe that nature operates inherently abundantly? Do you understand that that's how life operates? And if you don't understand it yet, it's not a matter of intellectually understanding it. It's not a matter of holding that knowledge in your cognitive brain. This is a matter of assimilating that wisdom. And what does that take? Rethinking. This is reflection here, Mercury retrograde. So this is about reflecting. This is about deep, quiet dives. This is where the North Node and Sun are located, in the 12th house of your consciousness. And what is it ruled by? Taurus and Venus. So your work over the next few weeks is to meditate. Your work over the next few weeks is to get still, get quiet, get undistracted. Be focused on your evolutionary journey, Sun, North Node. It's about your worth, your value. It's about a new level of stability inside the foundation of who you are, stabilizing your consciousness, stabilizing and becoming rooted in the knowledge of what your soul structure is. What is your blueprint? By the way, my natal analysis, the in-depth natal analysis, is on sale today. Today's the last day of the sale. So Monday, May 31st. So for those interested in understanding your natal blueprint, this is a time to do that, however you're going to be doing that. So rethinking your value, as opposed to what can happen with this quincunx, is thinking too much about superficial things, such as the jewelry or the beauty. It could be that there's so much thought and effort on your appearance, on the appearance, on the template of what the feminine in the masses. What is it? What stories are the feminine believing makes them beautiful? Is it the lashes? Is it the eyebrows? Is it the lips? Is it the butt? What is it? What is the story? What template of feminine are you adopting? How is it that you're altering and skewing self and your individual brilliance in order to fit some goddamn template, which is not you? Inherently, it's not you. So there's a lot of kind of distraction mind that can become present for those of you that are awake. You can become very present moment oriented with regards to exactly how much energy you leak on that which is completely unimportant and non-relevant and not you. So what non-self storylines are you adopting in? It's time to revalue self. This is the work. This is the work. Dreaming a dream of the life that is aligned for you. Not about you comparing your life path to everybody else's life path. This is your life path. What's your dream? What's your alignment? It doesn't look like everybody else's. Stop comparing. So for you, the goal for this 3 weeks is to dream the dream and hold it lightly. Hold the dream, create the dream, identify what is your natural alignment with regards to your life path. New expanded awarenesses, everybody. New expanded awarenesses with regards to your belief system, new teachings, new understandings, new expansions. The goal here, 24-degree Pisces, is with Neptune at 23 and Pallas Athena at 22 And Pallas is exactly trining that 22-degree Mars. There is a drive and a motivation to become the empowered feminine. Again, I am directing this a bit toward women in this video. I'm sorry for the men that are watching, but of course, this also applies to you. So for those men that are watching, this is about you having more, let's say, impetus to honor your own inner drivers. Also, to honor your feelings, your emotions, you know, to honor your own empowered feminine qualities, compassion, reception, receiving information versus always projecting and giving. Both functions are human and both are necessary for a balanced human existence. This is reflection and internalization. This is about receiving information, receiving the context, the environment, and it's also about giving. It's a feedback loop. And we all each are to get into that balance. It's not about being all one or all the other. So for the men watching, this is about you honoring your potency, your wisdom, your intuitive capacities and abilities. This is also about up-leveling to a master level here. 22-degree Mars, 22-degree Pallas with Neptune. So this is about the honoring and the honing. Keep in mind, we have a pruning process happening. It's not about simply letting the Neptunian function run wild. That's not what this is about. That's not what healthful alignment is about. There is always with Neptune a level of discrimination and discernment that is part of the maturation of the function, the highest iteration evolutionary process of Neptune. When it's unevolved, Neptune can operate, it can manifest like confusion and uncertainty and, procrastination because of perfectionistic ideations. So it can keep you in daydreams and keep you out of action. It can also keep you in illusion and self-deception. So it requires spiritual honing and clarity to hone the function of Neptune. That's when you can be laser clear with regards to consciousness and the truth that lives there versus the mythologies that you might apply or project or place there based on different things for different people. Usually it's an imbalanced structure because of a wound signature that's in the blueprint. All is well. We're all learning it. We're all getting better and better as we evolve, as we grow, as we willingly become self-aware. Then we take action on our desires. We take action on our feminine quality sets. We take action on providing care and protection for ourselves and for others. This particular signature with Mars in the first house is about caring for self. This is about nurturing self. This is about radical self-care here. This is about honoring your dream. And by the way, there's also an aspect here about keeping your dream to yourself. I have to tell you, that's indicated here as well, okay? And I want to point out something, which is that this is accurate now. So for a lot of you who are rethinking your life and are thinking about new career trajectories and all kinds of new ways of operating in this world, I have to tell you, you might want to keep it to yourself. And I say might, but I actually would rather say it might be optimal for you to really highly consider keeping the dream to yourself. Because when a seed is just planted, it needs to be covered by the soil. It needs the darkness in order to germinate. So for you, there's a new dream happening, and it's happening correlated to your own desires Your own taking the reins and the driver wheel of your own life's vehicle. So you are taking the reins, you are taking the driver's wheel. You are moving yourself forward for your own passions, toward your own desire set, toward your own bliss, you know. There's an aspect here of following your bliss, but also doing it with mindfulness, with presence, with clarity, with self-worth and self-value, with an understanding of sabotaging patterning that needs to be recognized here and up-leveled, you know. The empowerment of the feminine is indicated. The empowerment of the feminine is indicated. The feminine warrior is indicated. Does it mean that we all imbibe the warrior archetype in the same way? For goodness sake, no. The warrior archetype can be highly infantile and reactionary and totally not mindful or present or awake, aware, or mature. So the way the Pallas Athena and Mars are working together here can be brilliant. There can be a wisdom that instigates action, and that action is predicated upon self-worth and self-value. It's very significant what's happening here. Okay? What needs to be let go during this time frame? Minutia. This is your daily physical existence, the sixth house. Work, it's also your health, it's also, all kinds of things. Sixth house is essentially, though, your physical existence as a human being. 12th house is the soul structure, your consciousness. It is the consciousness. It's the access point to, consciousness. But this is your immaterial self. This is your material self. And this is the material world that can take a lot of energy and it can keep you very, very busy. So what is it that you need to release and let go of? A belief, Sagittarius, in busyness. A belief that you need to work, maybe work 60 hours a week in order to what? Make your mortgage? It's a belief. It's a belief. So question the belief. Rethink things. You're needing to rethink things. So let go of staying busy. What is your belief about your worth and your value? Is it about you doing a lot for a lot of people? This is transforming. Scorpio is ruling the sixth house. So for a lot of you, your work is changing. For a lot of you, your work is deepening. For a lot of you, your health will be challenged. Okay? There's something here about people's health. There's habits of your daily patterning, what you're eating, how are you exercising or moving your body, what are you imbibing, what's your pattern? Do you smoke? Do you do drugs? Do you drink? What are you eating? What are you imbibing? What are the energetic signatures naturally of the foods? It's transforming. For those of you that are awake, it's transforming. And it's coming from a deep desire to create that transformation because you want the structure of your life to change. And it's predicated upon health and wellness, vitality. Yes? Do you understand? You have to have your health in order if you are to dream and go after the dream of your aligned life. Let's look at the symbol here, 26 degrees Capricorn. Okay? In fact, I'm going to go ahead and turn my highlighter off at this point. Okay? Pilgrims climbing the steep steps leading to a mountain shrine, the ascent of the individualized consciousness to the highest realizations reached by the spiritual leaders of its culture. This symbol speaks to peak experiences that often depend on the path that many have trod before under the inspiration of great teachers. The shrine is built by the unceasing dedication of generations, and the pilgrimage is hallowed by devotion, even though each person finds their own mountaintop for what seems a unique and transcendent revelation. Here we witness the rise of human consciousness. uprising. So that's what we have going on. There's a trimming and a honing of the minutia, of the busyness, of the spinning, of the tapes, of the worry, of the stress, of the fear in the mind. There's a pruning and a honing of your thoughts and your thinking with regards to your value, your worth, your ability to make and manifest money and creativity and beauty and harmony for your life. And in the meantime, your consciousness is upgrading, and it's connected to the stories and the energetics that live at the root inside your psyche. So, what are the stories? What's creating your patterning? What are you not aware of? Trust me, there's a lot. So, go there. Let go of the distractions and the busyness and the projects and the tasks of your daily life. Let your health transform. Let your day-to-day life transform. Let your work transform. Let the dream and the optimal alignment for who you are emerge. Okay, everybody. Potent, beautiful, powerful time. I'm going to leave it there. For those interested who are watching this today, Monday, May 31st, there's a sale going on for the rest of today. For those who will watch this later, you can sign up for my newsletter and get made aware of when sales come about later. For those of you, yeah, and I would say to do that because there's going to be some stuff coming forward. So you might want to you might want to sign up for the newsletter to be made aware of some announcements coming. All right, everybody. Lots of love. I mean, such a huge, there's just the air is ripe with potential. The consciousness field right now is highly activated. It's so activated. So tap into it. Go there. Get quiet. Sit in stillness. Meditate. Follow your breath. For a lot of people, meditation feel they quote unquote can't meditate. A lot of times the human mind will say, I can't meditate because my mind gets too busy. Well, it will do that for a while. Become the witness of the thoughts. You are not your thoughts. That's one thing I'll leave you with, is that you are not your thoughts. So the more you sit and observe your thoughts as a witness, it will start to shift how much the mind has to communicate, talk, fill the void. You'll become awake and aware to who you really are and what the thoughts really are. And this creates an alteration in the drumbeat of the rhythm of your mind. The way it functions changes. And that's what's needed now. That is the call to action for the collective. But, people will do it. They won't. The collective will ultimately do it. How quickly, how long, whatever. It will happen when it will happen. But for all of you out there who feel that you're going through processes that feel painful, that feel like you are suffering from the situation, the condition, the relationship, the job, the whatever it might be, the family dynamic or whatever, understand that there's more there. The suffering is asking you to go deeper within. What is the suffering really about? Go into that space. That's the potential for the now, to get really clean, really clear. A beautiful time. I send you much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.